It's Lucy from Stress Homeopathy here to talk about stress and homeopathy. So Andrew and I, or maybe it was just me, decided that we were going to try this new Facebook app that allows to have multiple presenters, and so here we are giving it our first shot, and I'm hoping that this will work. So I've connected, hopefully, with Andrew. Andrew, if you're there. Please chime in. I should be able to see your face at some point. Anyways, today, yes, we are talking about stress and homeopathy, if we can get this to work, because I'm already feeling a little stressful. There's Andrew. So awesome. There you are, Andrew. Finally, I can see you. How are you?
I found out what was wrong.
Oh, is that
right? You were inviting me on my main profile, and I was opened on my business profile.
Oh, you know what? I just checked out your name, and so maybe what I should have put was Rawas Wellness rather than Andrew. But here we are. It works. Look at it. It looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now.
I saw Lori. Hi, Lori. I saw you out there. So, yeah, today we're talking about stress, and obviously I've already been through the last 8 minutes of feeling a little stressful trying this new app with Andrew and getting here live. So
every time we're using something new.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think I should take now that I'm a little stressful? I have some Bach behind me. Rescue remedy. That's it. I have some here.
I just used it.
I'm gonna just reach out and get it. Seriously, that was so rescue remedy for those moments. Is that upside down? No, it is maybe on your side, but this is amazing. The girls in my class when I was going through the homeopathic college, they were drinking this stuff before presentations because they didn't like to stand in front of the class, and they were just like every symptom you could imagine from fear and for presenting. This remedy did amazing work. And it wasn't on my list to talk about today, but hey, here it is.
Exactly. And it comes in lozenges and gum and everything too, so it's crazy.
It is, and it's so good. I mean, it's I remember my daughter-in-law and my son, they got a dog, their very first dog, and he was just having this huge separation anxiety from leaving the litter to going to their home, and she dosed him with the rescue remedy. You know, it helps you sleep a little bit, right? You can hear my cats out there, but yeah, it helps you sleep. Just relaxes and calms you to that point. So it's really, really great. Really, really great treatment. But anyways, today we're here to talk about stress and what that is, and kind of homeopathic remedies you could choose. And obviously stress is anything that takes you off balance. Doesn't have to be anything huge. Could be going out to your car and not starting, right? Or wanting to drive. And today, like, I don't know about you in Brockville, but it's a lot of snow going on here in Athens.
Not driving today. No.
No way.
No. Everything's got canceled, so I'm staying home.
Well, I have a session tonight that I might cancel as well because all I see is just more and more snow, and it's not stopping. So. Yeah. Yay.
Not even the snowplow passed by yet, so I'm stranded.
Oh well, stay warm, hunker down. It's all good stuff. Anyways, we should get on with the show because people are here to listen. So my name's Lacey. I'm from Charleston Lake Apothecary. I'm a homeopath, Reiki master. Sorry, Andrew.
It's okay.
And I offer personal growth development through tarot readings.
Nice. So I'm Andrew from Rawas Wellness. I am a homeopath as well and a Reiki master. It's been a journey so far. That it has.
And we're here to offer collectively, Andrew and myself, some teachings on homeopathy. It's not a new medicine by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's newer to North America than it is to Europe or India. But it's been around for a couple hundred years.
Well, historically, it's actually kind of odd. It was here before what we call traditional medicine, and then I think right after the time of the cowboys, it went away for a bit, and now it's back again. So
Yeah, when I was in school, I did some research. In 1965, there was an actual supposed homeopath. It was the last time that the homeopath was sitting on the College of Physicians board. So that's really interesting. So 1965. And so, yeah, we see the movement through the years, what it's been like here in Canada and the United States. In places like India, they have just as many homeopathic hospitals as they have traditional hospitals, right?
and a lot of them are mixed together like how they should be.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I think I've been born and living in the wrong country, because that would be just totally amazing, just for homeopathy perspective, right? That would be totally amazing.
Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing else. One day, there might be more of that after I go to India. I'll be able to tell you more, but I just like the concept of bridging that gap between what people think today is traditional, we call it Western medicine, versus homeopathy. But anyways, we're bridging that gap today because Andrew and I obviously feel very strongly that homeopathic medicine is an amazing medicine. Right, Andrew?
Yes. I know I think they tried to open a homeopathic hospital in California. I think they're still open. It was like 10 years ago.
Oh, is that right? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's many clinics across the country, and Ontario is the only province where they have homeopaths as a regulated health profession, just like they would with doctors and nurses. So that's amazing. All the other provinces in Canada aren't regulated yet, although that may come soon enough.
I don't know. Ontario's a little bit over-regulated if you think about it.
With how many professions there are, you mean?
Yes.
Possibly. But we're not here to debate that today. We're here to chat about stress. So stress for me is really like anything that takes you off balance, right? Like too much work, or a little bit too much, sometimes too much family time. Anything that you feel like you're off from maybe functioning to your maximum ability, whether that's a mental, emotional, or a physical stress. They're all inclusive as far as I'm concerned. Do you see any difference, Andrew?
Well, when you think about stress, everybody has their own kind of definition, so it's really hard to get a grasp on it. It's become a kind of blanketed term. Anxiety falls under stress, fear falls under stress. There's just way too many emotions. So we have a lot we can cover, and we're going to try to keep it simple and short.
Yeah. Well, I think what we typically do is we kind of go through maybe, 4 or 6 remedies that you could try if you're feeling stressed. Just a reminder, though, that, and I'm going to quote from the book just because some of the symptoms are really detailed. The remedies are very specific to the individual. So you could try a remedy, you think it would work for you, but it may not, right?
No.
And it's based on a multitude of symptoms for each remedy. And so as homeopaths, we try to match the mental, emotional, and physical symptoms of the individual to a particular remedy. And we have 5, 6, 7,000 to choose from.
Exactly. So as you were saying, for a lot of things you can treat yourself for, like colds and maybe flus, but something as complicated as stress management, you do want to reach out to somebody, because that aspect of talking to somebody is also part of the healing process as well.
Right. And I was explaining this to someone yesterday or last night. I was doing a little bit of a presentation, and And at the end of the day, when we do homeopathic consults, the individual or the client talks for the entire hour or 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And it's very different than when you go to see a medical doctor. With homeopathy, you can sit there and talk about everything that's wrong with you, and we want to hear it all. And we just let you talk for the whole time period. And at some point towards the end, we do ask a few questions, but we get then to understand the client and what's going on with them. And that's how we prescribe the remedy. And if stress is a part of their bigger picture, then we take that into account.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what are you starting off with? Which remedy are you going to start off with today, Andrew?
You know what? I'm going to start off with calc carb. I know I have somebody in my life who's a calc carb, so
that full name is Calcareous carbonicum, right?
yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you and I we have to catch ourselves when we do these little short forms because we know what we're talking about, but not everybody does.
Well, when you go to find the remedy, the easiest way to find it is under calc carb because they don't always have the full name on the remedy bottles.
Right.
So that's why I like to keep the short forms. I know with some of them, there are two similar remedies, but their short forms are different. So it's kind of a debate whether or not you like to go with short form or the full name.
Right. All right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You went off on a side there.
That's okay. But you know, there's so much to homeopathy, and we, you and I will always call it calc carb. If somebody's going to look it up, they might not see it either. But anyways, all is good. You go for it. What is calc carb all about?
So this remedy is usually for a very dependable person. They're usually solid and usually the person people go to when they have problems. But they usually get overwhelmed from either chronic illness, from overwork, or they start having this fear of breaking down. Their thoughts get all muddled and confused when they get tired, and it just all adds up. So everything just adds up and they get worse and worse. Yeah, bad news can make it worse, but just their stress starts piling on top of each other, and they don't typically lean on somebody, which also, again, adds to the stress some more. The person is usually very chilly, they can become sluggish, and they typically have cravings for sweets and get easily tired. And I'm gonna leave it at that because this remedy goes on. It's just one of the core remedies, and there's just so much you can talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of those really, I guess we call it does cover a lot of different symptoms and can be used for a lot of different reasons. It's one of those go-tos that I
a lot of overstressed people with arthritis, honestly.
Yeah. I hear you. I like that remedy though. Well, the one I chose was Ignatia.
Yeah.
And it's also very famous for being a grief remedy, right? The person has a little bit of hysteria in the grief. Which one of that is that, Lori? The calcareous carb, the one that Andrew just did that you would like the name in the chat, or the one that I'm doing right now? So Ignatia is
you keep going.
You answer the chat then. So this is a really emotional, oversensitive patient, almost set up for disappointments. They're disappointed consistently. They have easily hurt feelings. It's often difficult or impossible for the client to release the emotions. So we talk about this is really a good remedy if you've got some grief and some romantic disappointments. So sometimes you can have your relationships, if you have an intimate relationship, it can go a little bit. You can have your ups and downs. This will be a good remedy for that. clients very easily offended. They sigh a lot. There's a desire to cry and sob. They don't want to be consolated though, like no consolations here. Like they don't want to be hugged or touched. They like to just, do things from the side. They have, they're touchy kind of people. So that's from a mental perspective, and we're talking about a lot of different types of physical symptoms that you could potentially think that you might have this remedy as a good choice. But there's, like I said, like all the remedies, there's a lot of different symptoms that you could have. This one has a lump in the throat, perspiration only on the face, lots of sighing, lots of yawning. They dream of water. And so there's lots of different choices here in regards. But for me, this one would be definitely if there was some grief or sorrow around, or some stress around relationships, this would be a good one.
Yeah.
Considering we just had Valentine's Day. There you go. That was my next.
Okay.
What's your next choice?
Since we're having a discussion on health, I decided to go with the Hypochondriac, which is Arsenicum album.
Right.
Because they are usually deeply anxious about their health. They will over research their own health. They're extremely concerned with order and security. Often they obsess about small little details. So they just want to learn every little thing about their disease. They're very neat and tidy. They feel a desperate need to be in control. So again, being sick is something they can't control, so they obsess over it. They have panic attacks, usually around midnight or early hours in the morning. They seem to be very exhausted and restless. So they fidget, they pace, they move from place to place. They can have digestive problems, asthma attacks, and just a lot of anxiety with this remedy. They can't sit still. They start acting like this. I need to research everything. I'm exhausted because I'm moving so much. It's that kind of remedy.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because this remedy came up again last night in I chat with someone, and when we talk about Arsenicum album, is the energy of arsenic is how they make this remedy. And so it's not poisonous at the level that it's in the remedy. It's only the energy of the substances in the remedy. We're actually putting arsenic in it. So we be really clear. There's no arsenic here. It's just an energy from the arsenic.
You sure?
Well, it's really interesting because people do worry about that, right? Like, am I actually...
Especially arsenic patients.
Especially arsenic patients, exactly. I did have one of those, yes. So the one that I'm choosing next will be pulsatilla.
Yeah.
And this particular client would be one that's weeps a lot and fluctuates a lot and is kind of going in and out of emotions consistently, and everything about that person is changing. It's they're weeping about this, and they're weeping about that, and they feel like they always need support around them. Their parents are very big, or some figure in their life is they're very big because in their life, because they always feel like they need support and reassurance. So their moods are constantly changing, and so with a little bit of stress, that would be quite a big. It would definitely push them to be off balance. So these kind of clients are soft and timid, easily influenced, very dependent. They're easily weeping. They have changeable moods. They're always wondering if you love them, so anything can throw them off. And so if you're in that kind of panic situation or you feel like that's where you're at, this is a good remedy. But it's also one of those remedies that you really know the type of client that would need this, right? They would represent or present themselves with symptoms that are always changing, but weeping as they tell you. I've had a client like this, and it's pretty amazing to see. And so with that pulsatilla as the prescription, you just see this weeping and this changeability just, balance itself out. This is the amazing thing about homeopathy. Sometimes you could see it like right before your eyes happening. So this person also has, a lot of like everything else, a lot of different symptoms. They can have migraines with it. They can have dry mouth. They can have some vertigo. There's all kinds of symptoms, and there's pages and pages of it. But that would be another one for me.
Okay. Okay, so I have a few. Which one should we do? I'm gonna do lycopodium next,
Okay.
or looking up the remedy. It's like, spelled Lyco or Lyc, depends on the brand, I guess.
Yep.
It was one of the remedies I researched in school a little too much, so I will again. Okay, so these individuals are usually feel a lot of anxiety towards mental stress. They suffer from lack of confidence. They can be very self-conscious, and they can feel intimidated by people who they perceive more powerful than them, yet they also try to dominate people that they perceive that they are better than. So you can see this a lot. Some people are very pushed back at work, and then they go home and they're, I'm the guy in the house.
No, I've never seen that before, Andrew.
You
I'm
haven't?
just joking. Just joking. I have.
They take on responsibility. It can cause a deep, anxious fear of failure. Although they usually do very well, they become very anxious about it, and they worry about just screwing everything up. They can have claustrophobia. They don't like the small spaces. They're easily irritated. They have digestive upsets with gas and bloating, and they of course have a craving for sweets. So it's like very common in schools. In a school environment, you'll see this a lot. They're usually the quiet kid in class, and then outside of class, when they're talking to students, they can be the more helpful ones. They can take charge in their groups. It's very interesting to watch. It's like two personalities right in your face.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever prescribed that for anybody.
I've prescribed for it mentally for one person, but I've had the physical symptoms for, I think it was a cold or flu.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very interesting to have one of these people in your office. They're usually dragged in.
Well, the next one I'm going to do is kafia, and so it's coffee, and it seems to be the drink of choice for everybody on a daily basis. Not everybody, but most people will drink coffee during the day. I did an experiment when I was at school, and I actually, not an experiment, I did this whole case on kafia. It was one of those remedies I chose to work on, and actually brought coffee in, and we drank a whole slew, like pots and pots of it, and then you could see the side effects. And it's really interesting because I don't know that people really understand what coffee does to them on a daily basis and the amount that they drink, right? But anyways, people take it because they want to be alert, right? They think it keeps them awake, but it's really a habit. It's a habit forming drink. And so it keeps you wanting more, right? Unfortunately. It does provide you with, too much coffee. It's a nervousness, restlessness, oversensitivity to stimulus. I mean, that's if you take too much. And if we could limit our coffee to like 1 cup a day, that'd be great. But not everybody limits it to 1 a day. So this is one of those when you're feeling you get really excited. Everything's rapidly going on. There's a lot of stimulus, and you're going. It's almost like you're on overload, right? And so if you're off balance, this overload can just like be even worse. So if you remember that with homeopathy, you're prescribing a remedy that's similar to the symptoms, and that's one of the main principles, right? So what we're doing with this particular person, the reason we would consider kafia is that they're thinking very rapidly. They're uncontrollable thoughts and racing. They've got these ecstatic joy states. They have, bad effects from joy or surprise, like insomnia, in weakness. They take it also because they just kind of like need to get going. It's like this jump start of the day. They will wake up with the slightest noise. They have this racing thoughts going on. And we would prescribe that kafia for those particular symptoms to try to reduce the effects of all this stimulus, which we can understand with stress. We're overstimulated with something somewhere in our life, and the kafia would be potentially a good choice if you're feeling a little bit overstimulated and not getting enough sleep, obviously, to the main symptoms for sure. I like that.
And what question are you supposed to ask before prescribing kafia?
I don't know. What am I supposed to ask?
How much coffee do they drink?
Oh, of course.
Because if they're drinking a whole pot of coffee, they might just be proving the symptoms.
Exactly. Well, and that's my point, right? Like people don't realize that when you take so much coffee in, it has to have an effect on you. And then, so that what ends up happening is all these symptoms that you're having, you're going, oh my goodness, I'm this, I'm that, I should get, then you're running to the doctor for something. It's like, just slow down on your coffee. That would probably take care of a lot of the symptoms, right?
Yeah. A lot of our symptoms are caused by our diet, our environment, and who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
Sometimes a change is needed in order to get better.
Yeah. But, we do believe that if we can control our lifestyle, I mean, that's a lot of our,
It's hard.
It's hard.
That's one of the harder things to do.
Because we want what we want, right? Yeah. Are you doing one more remedy, or are we going to?
Sure. Let's do one more.
Okay.
This one I have prescribed to a few people when they did get stressed. They had other symptoms that fit it as well, but it's Natmir.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's prescribed quite a bit.
Yeah.
They have deep emotions. They have self-protective shyness. They seem reserved. They keep a lot of things to themselves. Even when they're feeling lonely, they tend to stay away from other people. So it's like a lonely social anxiety. They don't know what to do about it, which also doesn't help with it.
Yeah.
And since they want to keep to themselves, they don't always reach out for help. Again, this is another person that typically gets dragged in by their parents or their spouse. They get easily hurt and offended. They can brood, bear grudges, dwell on unhappy feelings, isolate themselves, refuse consolation or any help. Even when they really do want it, they're very sympathetic to other people's problems, and they try to help out. They have anxiety at night with fears of intruders. They have insomnia, and they suffer from migraines. So this is a very hard to deal with remedy. So they have trouble letting people in, like I said, and they want it.
It's a common one. I've given that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think we're going to wind down. That's 6 remedies that you could potentially use for stress. Again, you'll have to figure out, all the symptoms. If you're not seeing a homeopath and you're doing it over the counter, you may try a few before you end up finding the one that works for you. But Andrew and I are available for appointments. And we take collectively totality. Thanks, Lori. We take your totality of symptoms together to come up with a remedy. So you can appreciate that every remedy has pages and pages of symptoms, and we would have to find the one that matches yours that you're giving us in a session.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other things you can try as well.
Yep.
There's martial arts help with stress. So sometimes you're just missing something to use as an outlet for your stress. So martial arts, there's breathing techniques, meditation. I'm kind of going to start up a meditation group again once things warm up. And then there's a lot of teas, so like chamomile, lavender.
Yeah. Even just going for a walk or shutting all the the electronics down, right? Just some peace and quiet. Getting away from everything that you're connected to makes a really big difference. So we have a few things coming up between Andrew and I. So next Thursday, we're doing an in-person session. If anybody wants to come to check out our little seminar, we're doing it at Andrew's place in Brockville called Rawas Wellness. So that'll be in person on Thursday, March the 2nd at 6 p.m. We're also going to be on Facebook Live again now that we figured out how to work this. Thursday, March the 9th, and we'll be talking about arthritis remedies at that point, so that'll be really exciting. And then we're doing another Facebook Live on March 16th at 10 a.m. What are we talking about then?
What was the subject? We had...
Oh, remember. It's on our Facebook pages.
I'm pulling it up now.
Okay,
Let's see.
And then we're doing another in-person session, so you can meet us on March the 30th, again at Andrew's place in Brockville. And after that, we're going to be actually doing consultations. What's up?
It's allergies. I looked it up.
Oh, allergies. That's great. So the March 30th.
Just in time for it.
And then on April 6th, we're going to be getting together in person for anybody that's interested in having a consultation. We'll be potentially maybe doing one live if anybody's interested. Otherwise, we'll be setting up appointments if you want to come do an acute treatment consultation. We'll be there. Personal consultations, like a full one, takes a couple hours, so we won't necessarily be offering those at that time, but we are taking appointments. Anything else you'd like to add now that I've been chatting away?
I don't know. Well, if you're having any issues with anything, feel free to reach out to us to book a full appointment. If you want to do group consultation, that might be something we can arrange. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to like our pages.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
Bye.